Well, Liam's told me to meet here for a gravel ride, and you might have noticed there's no Liam. So let me just run you through my bike. This is my Lauf Seigla. You've all seen it before, and if you haven't, then check out our staff bikes video on it. This is Liam now. Oh, hang on a minute. That's not a gravel bike.
This is the fastest gravel bike in the world. It has been proven.
You've seen Van der Poel, haven't you?
Yes, yes.
Right, let me just clarify this. You're not Van der Poel.
I am in my mind.
I'm going to go and prove it to you.
I think this road bike is a gravel bike, and I don't think you need a gravel
you
bike.
hold them.
Actually, I'm going to put them on is what I'm going to do. I'm going to nick your gloves. Chilly today.
Let's go riding. That doesn't work.
It's misty today. I'm genuinely stealing
Also, not a triathlete, so arms over the helmet. Do you know why triathletes do that? So that in transition there you go.
Who cares? I do need to do a tyre change, but I think
now you say.
I think with maybe a montage and 5 seconds we're good. And there you go, gravel bike. I tell you what, mate, my bike is properly good here.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
In fact, I think this is...
I've just overtaken you.
This is definitely the bike for me.
Right, so we've done a few K now, and well, you've kept up so far, although the gravel isn't exactly the gnarliest, is it?
Yeah, I'd say that this is where this bike is going to excel. The difference between these two bikes basically comes down to the tyres that they'll accept. This one has got 34 mil, I'd say. They're printed as 33s, but I think they'll be sitting a little bit wider. But yours has got some pretty chunky tyres.
Yes, so these are 45mm tyres, and most gravel bikes, modern gravel bikes, will take up to about that. This one will actually take up to a 57, so it's a bit of a outlier.
Yeah, mine won't. This is pretty much the limit, especially if it was going to get muddy. I could maybe squeeze a couple more mil, especially if I didn't have the tread, because that adds to the I think the tread's
going to come in handy though. But mainly where you want tyre volume is as the gravel gets bigger and bigger. So whilst you're fine on this, if we find some chunky gravel, which we're going to go and do in a minute, then I think you're going to struggle. You're going to have to pick your line a lot more.
Yeah, my wrists are preparing, my elbows and my ankles are already hurting for that. Shall we, speaking of chunky gravel, shall we go and find some?
Yes.
Yeah, come on then, mate. Keep up.
Well, I'm not on my bike.
Never coming to a stop without skidding, are we?
Oh. So go on then, Liam, tell us where you got the idea for this monstrosity from.
Well, basically, I had this out on test. I finished my test and it was all clean and ready to go back to Canyon. But then Van der Poel and Gianni Vermeersch rocked up to Gravel Worlds on their road race bikes, which is this Canyon Ultimate. Yeah, they just fitted some slightly bigger tyres. And realistically, okay, so we see the gravel in Italy was quite nice. It was very fine gravel, and some of the gravel around here that we've been riding today has been on the chunkier side, hasn't it?
In fact, has, yeah.
You've taken me mountain biking, is what
no,
you've done.
I haven't.
You
no,
absolutely have. He's wanted to prove a point, so he's taken me mountain biking.
Around this area, we're lacking the miles and miles of gravel expanse.
The really smooth, fine gravel that something like this would excel.
I call it American gravel.
Yes.
I realise America's quite a big place. But there's a bit of geography for you.
There are pockets of that kind of gravel in the UK, like Salisbury Plain, for example.
Avon Forest in Wales.
This would be fine. Exactly. And so I think in terms of what this can do, it can do, you know, what the tyre size says it can do. And it just depends on what you've got.
So other than tyres, what are the differences? Obviously, we've got a difference in geometry.
Yeah.
So I've got wider handlebars, which is going to
Yeah.
give you more stability on descent. And we'll also find flared bars on gravel bikes, won't we?
Yeah, pretty much. I am set up for speed. So I am long, I'm narrow, and the wheelbase is relatively tight, actually. So the handling isn't too bad. One thing that we have noticed, though, the toe overlap becomes quite an issue when
Yeah.
you're trying to pedal up a nice...
Explain that.
Well,
Look at this.
toes overlap the front wheel, and then you either kick the tyre and fall off, or you just fall off, or you kick the tyre and ruin your shoes. So none of that is ideal.
So my bike has also got a slacker trail angle and seat tube angle. That means that my front wheel is further in front of me, so I am less likely to go over the bars. And then BB drop, a very low bottom bracket on a gravel bike.
I'm not going to lie, I really hate talking about geometry, so should we talk about more functional things?
Okay.
One thing that your bike has a few of is mounts, and I have absolutely nothing. I've got 2 bottle cage mounts, and that's it.
Yeah, but if you've gone for an endurance bike, then you'd add one.
Yeah, I kind of, I would miss that if I was going bike packing.
I think there's some on the bottom as well. There's some on the bottom.
You do have some on the bottom.
And a bit of mud.
Jamie, a lot of people will say that gravel bikes are just a fad and something that the bike industry has invented to sell more bikes. How are you going to defend your beloved?
I mean, of course, bike manufacturers do like selling bikes.
They do.
I always wanted my cyclocross bike to have wider clearances. I had an XC mountain bike, and this has now replaced that. So by buying a new bike, I've actually got rid of a bike.
You always rode your cyclocross bike on stuff like this, and then if it was more than this, well, you just take your cross-country mountain bike, and those were the kind of 2 bikes that you had. Whereas gravel bikes now, they kind of sit in the middle and do a little bit of both, don't they?
There was loads of people making cyclocross bikes more mountain bikey, and loads of people making mountain bikes more cyclocrossy.
Yes.
So basically,
That's a gravel
this is
bike.
in the middle. Yeah, mine's better here. Oh, a severe running out of talent.
Yeah, my bike's not that great for this.
One thing that I think we should mention is that whilst Van der Poel might have ridden a Canyon Ultimate, all bikes come with a rating system, and manufacturers often rate them for the size of drop you can ride off of. Now, obviously, road bikes, they don't normally have to go off many drops, so it's normally about curb height or...
Yeah, so
that.
in terms of safety, you should probably check with your manufacturer before you go using your road bike on probably gnarly gravel.
Yeah, now we sound proper boring, don't we?
But realistically, to wrap this up, I think that you can do gravel on a road bike just as long as the gravel is suitable.
Yeah, so do you need one? No, but for the majority of British gravel, I'd say you're better off on a gravel bike. Of course, you can always put your road wheel set on a gravel bike.
Yes.
And unless you're racing, then, you know, it does the job.
Well, if you like this video and you want to see us doing more stupid stuff on bikes that are completely unsuitable, remember to like this video, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.